Have you ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or passed by? Have you ever sat in a room where people whispered about your failures, but never spoke of your potential? Have you ever walked through a season where it felt as though the world stacked itself against you? Where doors closed, opportunities dried up, and those who promised to stand by you vanished. Let me tell you tonight, you are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and you are not invisible. God has His eyes upon you, and the same people who doubted you, the same people who dismissed you, will one day witness the power of God as He lifts you up in front of them all. God is going to exalt you in front of everyone, not because of who you are, but because of who He is. He is the lifter of heads, the changer of seasons, the one who takes the lowest and places them in the highest places. When the time is right, it is a dangerous thing to count someone out too soon, because when God places His hand on a life, no human tongue, no jealous spirit, no envious heart, and no opposition can stop the exaltation He has already ordained. The world may have labeled you a failure, but God calls you chosen. The crowd may have walked away, but God stands near. People may have tried to bury your name in the dirt, but God specializes in pulling treasures out of the very soil others tried to hide you in. And hear me clearly, when God exalts you, He does not do it in secret. He does it openly, publicly, undeniably, in such a way that no one can question that it was His hand upon your life. Those who laughed will stand in silence. Those who mocked will bow their heads. Those who doubted will be forced to witness that the very one they overlooked has been lifted by the Almighty. Do not despise the seasons of being hidden, because it is in the quiet places where God shapes a man or woman into the vessel He desires. It is in the secret struggles, the tears no one else saw, the prayers whispered in the stillness of night, that God has been preparing you for the moment of exaltation. Some of you have been crying out, "Why, God? Why am I still in this valley? Why am I still unseen? Why am I not moving forward while others seem to run ahead?" But let me declare with authority, you are not delayed, you are being developed. You are not forgotten, you are being prepared. And when the time comes, the elevation will be so swift, so undeniable, that it will leave even your enemies speechless. God is not just going to lift you quietly into a corner. He is going to exalt you in front of everyone so that His name will be magnified through your life. Some of you think your mistakes disqualified you. Some of you think your past has ruined your future. But God does not choose the perfect. He perfects the chosen. The very flaws people ridiculed you for are the very places where His strength will shine. He is not intimidated by your failures. He redeems them. He is not hindered by your past. He transforms it into a testimony. And when He lifts you up, the story of your journey will not be a tale of your own brilliance, but of His glory revealed through your weakness. That is why you cannot be ashamed of where you came from. That is why you cannot despise the days of small beginnings, because when God exalts you, it will be a story so powerful, so undeniable, that every listener will know it was only possible by His hand. Think of the power of God's timing. People may exalt themselves, climbing ladders built on lies, manipulation, and shortcuts, but such thrones crumble quickly. A crown you grab on your own will never sit securely on your head. But a crown placed on you by the hand of God can not be removed by anyone. When God exalts, it is lasting. When God lifts, no one can push down. When God opens the door, no hand can shut it. That is why you must stop comparing yourself to those who seem to rise faster than you. They may sprint ahead, but if God has not planted them there, the wind will soon scatter them. But when God sets you in place, you will remain rooted, immovable, a testimony to His faithfulness. The very ones who rejected you will one day have to watch as God honors you. The very ones who said you were not good enough will see you seated in places they never imagined. The very ones who tried to hold you back will be unable to stop what God Himself has set in motion. And the beauty of it is that you will not even have to lift yourself. You will not have to fight with bitterness or vengeance. You will not have to prove yourself with desperate striving. All you must do is remain faithful, remain humble, remain surrendered. And when the time comes, the exaltation will be so divine, so undeniable, that all will see the hand of God upon your life. Do you know why God exalts in front of everyone? Because He wants His glory seen. If He lifted you in secret, the world would continue to think power lies in human hands. But when He raises the humble before the proud, when He lifts the overlooked above the celebrated, when He honors the one who once sat in the shadows, the world must acknowledge that no hand but God's could have done it. That is why you cannot afford to give up in the valley. That is why you cannot afford to stop in the wilderness. That is why you cannot let despair consume you when life seems silent. Because right now, while you feel unseen, God is preparing the stage. Right now, while you feel small, He is building the platform where He will set you high. And when that day comes, it will not be for your ego, but for His glory. The exaltation of God is not just about position, it is about purpose. He lifts you not so you can sit in comfort, but so you can carry responsibility. He raises you up not to flaunt your name, but to declare His. And that is why the valley is necessary, because it teaches you humility. That is why the rejection is necessary, because it cleanses you of pride. That is why the silence is necessary, because it roots you in dependence on Him. And when He lifts you, you will not be corrupted by the height, because the depth of your valley will have prepared you to stand tall without losing your foundation. He is not just exalting you in front of everyone to show them what you can do. He is exalting you in front of everyone to show them what He can do through a life fully surrendered. There is a divine mystery in the way God works, a mystery that human logic cannot explain and human pride cannot predict. You see, when people look at you, they may only see the surface. They may only measure you by your appearance, your background, your resources, or your current situation. But God sees deeper. God sees the hidden strength, the quiet endurance, the untapped potential, and the faith that nobody else noticed. God sees the tears you shed when no one else was watching. God hears the prayers whispered in silence when you felt alone. And it is precisely those unseen moments that prepare you for the day when He will exalt you before the eyes of all. People may think they know your story, but only God holds the final chapter. And when that chapter unfolds, it will silence every critic and astonish every witness. Because it will be evident that His hand has been upon you all along. The exaltation of God is not like the exaltation of men. When men lift someone up, it is often fleeting, fragile, and filled with conditions. People celebrate you one day and forget you the next. They praise you while it benefits them, then abandon you when it costs them. But when God exalts you, there is no expiration date on His blessing. When God lifts you, He secures you. When God places you in a position of honor, no hand can snatch you away. That is why you must trust His timing. even when it feels slow. That is why you must surrender to His process, even when it feels painful. Because God does not simply lift you for a moment, He establishes you for a lifetime. His exaltation is not a performance. It is a proclamation of His power, His justice, and His unfailing plan for your life. And make no mistake, the process is just as important as the promise. For before God exalts, He refines. Before He elevates, He tests. Before He honors, He humbles. Why? Because He knows that the weight of exaltation can crush those who are not ready for it. He knows that power without humility is dangerous, and honor without character is destructive. That is why your journey has been filled with challenges, trials, and seasons of silence. It was never punishment. It was preparation. The tears you cried watered the soil for your future harvest. The battles you endured trained your spirit for the heights you are about to climb. The rejections you suffered purified your heart so that when God exalts you, pride will not poison your soul. Everything you went through is shaping you into someone who can carry the honor of being lifted by God without being destroyed by it. There are people who do not believe you will make it. There are those who have already written you off, placing a period where God has only put a comma. They see you in the valley and assume you will never rise. They see you at the bottom and assume that is where you belong. But let me declare to you tonight, God's plan is not determined by people's opinions. God's timing is not dictated by their schedules. God's purpose is not canceled by their disbelief. And when He chooses to exalt you, He will do it in such a way that even those who doubted you will have to testify that it was His hand at work. They will look and say, how did it happen? How did someone we thought so little of rise so high? And the answer will be one word: God. This is why you must not grow weary in your waiting. The delay is not denial. The silence is not abandonment. The valley is not the end of your story. For the very path you walk in humility is the path God will use to lift you up. Do you not know that the stone rejected by the builders can become the cornerstone? Do you not realize that the one who has been cast aside can become the very one God uses to display His glory? That is the way of God. He reverses the order of the world. The proud are brought low, the humble are lifted high, the forgotten are remembered, the overlooked are chosen. The last become first, not by human hands, but by the decree of God. And when He exalts you, it will not be a secret rise. It will be a public testimony, a living declaration that God is still in the business of lifting the lowly and honoring the faithful. So do not despise where you are. Do not despise the smallness of your current place. Do not despise the hiddenness of your present season. For what looks like obscurity is actually God's training ground. What feels like delay is actually God's protection. What seems like rejection is actually God's redirection. And the very ones who look down on you now will one day be forced to look up as God raises you above what they ever imagined. Not because of your power, not because of your influence, but because God alone has chosen to exalt you. And when that exaltation comes, it will not just be for you. It will be for His name's sake. Your life will become a testimony to others who are walking through their own valleys. Your story will become proof that God can lift the weak, strengthen the broken, and honor the overlooked. The exaltation will not just elevate you, it will draw others closer to Him. That is the purpose of your rising, that the world might see God through you. That is why you must carry it with humility, knowing that it is not your greatness that lifted you, but His. So walk with confidence, even in the valley, for the valley is not forever. Walk with faith, even in the wilderness, for the wilderness is not permanent. Walk with hope, even when overlooked, for the eyes of God are upon you. And when the time comes, the exaltation will be undeniable. You will not have to fight for recognition, for God Himself will announce you. You will not have to beg for honor, for God Himself will crown you. You will not have to prove yourself, for God Himself will vindicate you. And when He does, the very ones who once questioned you will be forced to watch as God sets you in a place of honor before their eyes. That is why you must not fear the opinions of men. That is why you must not let their gossip break your spirit. That is why you must not let their doubt become your burden. For their words do not determine your worth. God does. Their rejection does not cancel your calling. God secures it. Their unbelief does not weaken your destiny. God strengthens it. And when the moment of exaltation comes, their voices will fall silent under the weight of His authority. Remember this, when God exalts, He does not do it halfway. He does not lift you to a small place just to appease your longing. He lifts you high enough that even those who stand far off cannot deny what He has done. He places you in positions that could never have been reached by your own hand. He opens doors so wide that no man can shut them. He places you on platforms so secure that no one can shake them. And all of it is so that the world will see His greatness through your story. There are moments in life when it feels as though the weight of rejection is too heavy to carry, when the sting of being underestimated burns deeper than any wound. Perhaps you have faced betrayal from those you trusted, or ridicule from those you thought would support you. Perhaps you have watched as others passed you by, taking positions, opportunities, and recognition you longed for while you remained unseen. But let me remind you tonight that God has not forgotten you. God has not overlooked you. In fact, it is in those very moments of rejection and obscurity that He is preparing the foundation for your exaltation. For when He raises you up, it will not be because of human approval, but because of His divine decree. And when God decrees a thing, no voice, no power, no opposition can silence it. The exaltation of God is not built on human applause. It is built on divine purpose. When people will promote you, they can demote you. When people elevate you, they can abandon you. But when God exalts you, He establishes you on a foundation that cannot be shaken. But that is why the waiting often feels long, because He is not building something temporary in you. He is building something eternal. He is shaping a character that can carry the weight of glory. He is molding a heart that will not crumble under pressure. He is fortifying your spirit so that when the moment of exaltation comes, you will stand strong, steady, unmovable, and deeply rooted in Him. You see, many chase positions, but positions without God's hand are empty. Many crave recognition, but recognition without God's favor is hollow. Many seek to be seen, but to be seen without the covering of God is dangerous. That is why God sometimes hides you, not to harm you, but to protect you. He hides you while others are running ahead, because He knows that a premature rising can lead to a premature fall. He knows that if you step into honor too, soon you might be destroyed by the very weight of it. But when God exalts you at the right time, He does it in such a way that you are not only lifted, but sustained. You are not only honored, but preserved. You are not only recognized, but established in a place where no human hand can pull you down. Understand this. Exaltation from God does not always look the way we imagine. Sometimes it is not a throne or a title, but the power of influence, the impact of your voice, the authority of your presence. God can exalt you in your workplace, giving you favor beyond your credentials. God can exalt you in your community, causing others to look to you for wisdom and guidance. God can exalt you in your family, turning you into a pillar of strength when others falter. And yes, God can exalt you on platforms you never dreamed of standing upon, in places you never imagined being invited to, before audiences you never thought would hear your name. But however He does it, the exaltation will be unmistakable. It will be God and only God. Do not underestimate the power of humility in this process, for humility is the key that unlocks the doors of exaltation. When you humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, He lifts you in due season. And humility is not weakness, it is strength under control. It is the posture of one who knows that true honor does not come from self-promotion, but from God's promotion. Humility says, I will wait on God's timing, even when it hurts. Humility says, I do not need to prove myself to people, for God Himself will prove me. Humility says, I will stay faithful in the little, knowing God is preparing me for much. And when God sees humility in a heart, He delights in lifting that person higher than they could ever lift themselves. But let me also speak truth with boldness. Exaltation does not come without opposition. When God begins to lift you, there will be those who resist. There will be those who question. There will be those who envy and those who conspire. Do not be surprised when opposition rises at the same time as exaltation, for the higher you go, the stronger the winds will blow. But here is the good news: no weapon formed against you shall prosper when God is the one lifting you. No scheme, no lie, no jealousy can undo what God has ordained. In fact, sometimes God uses your enemies as the very witnesses of your exaltation. He allows them to watch, not so they can stop you, but so they can see His glory revealed in your life. They will watch, powerless, as God takes you from the valley to the mountain. They will witness the unfolding of a plan they cannot interfere with, a destiny they cannot sabotage. And in the end, even they will have to acknowledge this is the hand of God. This is why you must guard your heart as God lifts you. Do not let pride creep in. Do not let arrogance take root. Do not let the applause of men make you forget the hand of God, because exaltation without gratitude is dangerous. Honor without humility is hollow. But when you carry your exaltation with a bowed heart and lifted hands, God can trust you with even greater things. He exalts not to make you boastful, but to make you a beacon. He lifts you not to inflate your ego, but to magnify His greatness through you. The higher He takes you, the more visible your testimony becomes. And the more visible your testimony becomes, the greater the opportunity to declare the glory of God. Perhaps right now you feel stuck, overlooked, hidden. Perhaps you wonder if your season of exaltation will ever come. Let me declare to you with conviction: it will. For God is faithful to complete what He begins. He does not start a story He does not intend to finish. If He has spoken honor over your life, that honor will come. If He has promised to lift you, that lifting will happen. If He has decreed exaltation, it will manifest in the perfect time. Do not measure God's plan by the clock on your wall, for His timing is not bound by human hours. He moves in seasons, not seconds. And when your season comes, it will not be late. It will not be early. It will be right on time. So stand firm. Keep your head lifted even in the valley. Keep your spirit strong even in the waiting. Keep your faith unshaken even when circumstances try to break you. For the day is coming when God will exalt you in front of everyone. The day is coming when He will lift you so high that those who once looked down on you will no longer be able to deny His hand upon your life. And when that day comes, you will not stand in pride, but in awe. You will not boast in yourself, but God. You will not say, "Look what I have done," but "Look what God has done." There is a divine pattern woven throughout the lives of those whom God has lifted. If you look closely, you will see that exaltation rarely comes in the way we expect, nor at the time we desire. Often, it comes after long seasons of silence, when it seems nothing is moving, when prayers feel unanswered, and when the waiting seems endless. But this is the way of God. He does not exalt in haste, because haste destroys what patience can build. He exalts at the moment when the heart is ready, the spirit is purified, and the lesson of humility has taken root. That is why you cannot despise the waiting, for the waiting is the very furnace in which God shapes the vessel that He intends to lift. Some of you have been comparing your timeline to the timeline of others. You see people being honored, being promoted, being recognized, and you wonder, why not me? Why has God passed me by? But hear this truth: God is not late, and He has not passed you by. He is weaving a story in your life that cannot be compared to another's. What He is preparing you for is unique, and when He exalts you, it will not look like what He has done for someone else. It will look like something entirely your own. The honor He has prepared for you is tailored for you, and no one else can wear it. That is why He has hidden you for so long, why He has preserved you through rejection and obscurity, because what He is building in you cannot be rushed, copied, or substituted. And when God exalts you, it will not be in secret. It will be before the very eyes of those who counted you out. The same mouths that whispered against you will be forced to witness your rising. The same eyes that looked down on you will be forced to look up in astonishment. And it will be clear to all who see you that it was not by your power, not by your striving, not by your manipulation, but by the hand of God. This is the glory of divine exaltation. It silences every critic, confounds every skeptic, and humbles every enemy. Because when God lifts a person, the testimony is undeniable. Do not miss this exaltation is not just about you. It is about the message God wants to proclaim through your life. When He raises you up, He is sending a signal to the world that He is still sovereign, that He is still in control, that He is still watching over those who are faithful. Your life becomes a living demonstration of His justice, His timing, and His power. That is why He does not merely exalt you privately, He does it publicly, so that your story becomes a stage upon which His greatness is displayed. When people look at you, they will not be able to explain your rise without mentioning God. And that is exactly His intention, that your exaltation becomes an altar of testimony where His name is glorified. But understand this, with exaltation comes responsibility. God does not lift you just so you can bask in honor. He lifts you so you can carry influence. He exalts you so you can lead with humility, serve with integrity, and impact others with the lessons you learned in the valley. That is why your struggles were necessary. Without them, you would not have compassion for those still in the valley. Without them, you would not know how to guide others with wisdom. Without them, your exaltation would serve only yourself. but because you have walked through hardship. Your rising will not just elevate you, it will lift others with you. Your testimony will become a torch for those still walking in the dark. A reminder that if God could exalt you, He can exalt them too. There is also a testing that comes with being lifted. For when God exalts you, you will be surrounded by both admirers and critics. Some will celebrate you, others will envy you. Some will draw close to you with pure motives, others with hidden agendas. That is why you must never forget the one who lifted you. Do not let the honor of men make you forget the hand of God. Do not let the applause of the crowd drown out the voice of the... Stay grounded in humility, for the higher God lifts you, the more you must bow before Him. Stay faithful in prayer, for the more visible you become, the more you will need His covering. And never use your exaltation to crush others. Use it to point them upward to the God who raises the lowly. Hear this clearly: no one can stop what God has ordained. No betrayal, no rejection, no closed door can cancel the decree of the Almighty. People may delay you, but they cannot deny you. Circumstances may frustrate you, but they cannot destroy you. For when God has spoken honor over your life, His word overrides every obstacle. And when the time comes, nothing can prevent Him from lifting you. The exaltation of God is not a possibility, it is a certainty. If He has promised to exalt you, it will happen. Not one force in the heavens or the earth can stand against the word of the Almighty. And when it happens, you will understand why the waiting was so long, why the rejection was so sharp, why the valley was so deep. Because all of it was necessary. Every tear, every disappointment, every lonely night, it was shaping you, humbling you, strengthening you, preparing you for the place God has reserved for you. And when He exalts you, you will not only rise higher than you imagine, but you will rise stronger, wiser, and more dependent on Him than ever before. So let your heart be steady. Let your faith be strong. Let your hope be unshaken. For God is faithful, and He will exalt you in front of everyone. The story is not over, the page is not finished, and the best chapter has yet to be written. Soon, you will stand in a place you once only dreamed of. Soon, you will see the fulfillment of what you prayed for. Soon, the world will witness what God has been preparing all along. And when that moment comes, may every eye see and every heart know it was God and God alone. There comes a time when the hidden work of God in your life must be revealed, when the quiet preparation of the valley gives way to the public display of His glory. Some of you have been asking, why has God kept me low? Why has He not lifted me yet? And the answer is this: God is not only concerned with lifting you up, He is concerned with what you will carry when you are lifted. If He raised you too soon, you might lose sight of Him in the noise of applause. If He placed you on the mountain before you learned how to stand in the valley, the winds of pride might sweep you away. But when God decides that your season of preparation is complete, His exaltation will not only lift you, it will anchor you. He will raise you in such a way that no one can deny it and no one can undo it. Consider how God works in patterns that confound human logic. He takes the least likely and makes them the most honored. He takes those who have been pushed aside and places them at the center. He takes the ones who were silenced and gives them a voice that cannot be ignored. This is the way of God. He delights in overturning the verdicts of men. When people think they have written the final word about you, when they have decided who you will be and how far you will go, God steps and writes His own decree. And his decree is final. His decree carries weight beyond every rumor, every insult, and every rejection. When he declares that you will be exalted, the ink of his word cannot be erased. But let us not mistake God's exaltation as a mere elevation of status. God does not lift you simply to be admired. He lifts you so his power can be revealed through you. The place he sets you in is not for you to boast, but for you to shine with his light. When people see you exalted, they must be compelled to see God in you. That is why your exaltation will carry a fragrance of humility. Others rise and boast of their own hands, but when God lifts you, you will know it was not your doing. You will know it was not your cleverness or your strength. It was his grace, his hand, his purpose. And because you know it, you will not rise with arrogance, but with awe. Now hear this truth: God's exaltation is often preceded by testing. Just before the dawn breaks, the night is at its darkest. Just before honor comes, humiliation often presses hard. Just before you are lifted, life may push you lower than you thought you could go. But that is the sign that exaltation is near. Do not despise the depth of your current struggle, for it is often the prelude to the height of your coming honor. God tests you with lack before he trusts you with abundance. He tests you with obscurity before he trusts you with influence. He tests you with rejection before he trusts you with recognition. Every test is not to destroy you, but to prove you. And when you pass through those fires with your faith intact, God himself will declare, "Now it is time. Now I will exalt my servant before all." There is also a mystery in the way God uses your enemies as instruments of your exaltation. Sometimes the very ones who plot against you become the stage upon which your honor is displayed. They may gather to bring you down, but God uses their schemes to set the backdrop for his lifting. Their betrayal becomes the soil from which your promotion grows. Their words of mockery become the silence that follows your vindication. Do not be troubled by opposition. It is often the confirmation that God is preparing to exalt you. If there were nothing in you worth lifting, there would be no resistance trying to keep you down. The presence of opposition is proof that exaltation is near. And let me remind you, when God exalts, it is never small. He does not lift you halfway. He does not raise you to a place where the world can doubt whether it was him. When God exalts, it is undeniable. It is evident. It is beyond dispute. He lifts you to a place where even those far off must acknowledge that something greater than human effort has taken place. He opens doors that no one thought possible, and he sets you on paths no one could have designed but him. And when it happens, the only explanation left is God. That is why you must not waste energy trying to force people to recognize you now. Recognition that comes from man is shallow and fleeting. Recognition that comes from God is everlasting and unshakable. So I say to you, keep your heart steady in the waiting. Keep your spirit humble in the hidden place. Keep your faith unshaken in the valley. For the time will come when God himself will exalt you before everyone. And when that day comes, you will not only be lifted, you will be transformed. You will walk differently, not because of pride, but because of purpose. You will speak differently, not because of arrogance, but because of authority. You will carry yourself differently, not because of ego, but because the weight of God's hand is upon you. And do not forget, your exaltation is not only for you, it is for those watching you. There are people who will find hope in your rising. There are people who will believe again because of what God does in your life. There are people who will come to know the power of God because they witnessed Him lift you. This is the ripple effect of exaltation. It is never contained in one life. When God lifts you, it becomes a testimony that spills into the lives of countless others, igniting their faith, strengthening their hope, and anchoring their trust in Him. So do not be disheartened by how long the process feels. Do not be discouraged by how hidden you seem. Do not be dismayed by how strong the opposition appears. For all of it is under the sovereign hand of God, and none of it can cancel what He has ordained. When the hour of exaltation arrives, nothing in heaven or earth will stop it. And when it does, may the world see not just you standing higher, but God standing taller through you. When the hand of God moves to exalt you, no force in this world can keep you low. What He has spoken over your life will come to pass, and no voice of doubt, no whisper of envy, no scheme of man can silence the decree of God. You may have been overlooked, but you were not forgotten. You may have been pressed down, but you were not abandoned. You may have been hidden in the shadows, but all along God was preparing the stage where He Himself would lift you before every eye. And when that moment comes, let it be clear to all that it was God who raised you. Walk in humility, for pride is the language of the self, but exaltation is the language of God. Stand firm, for exaltation is not fragile. It is anchored by His will. Shine brightly, for exaltation is not about being seen for your glory, but about reflecting His greatness. So lift your head, child of God. Do not fear the delay, for the delay is only the hand of God shaping you for the destiny He has written. Do not be shaken by the weight of trials, for those very trials will be the testimony of your lifting. And when the day arrives, and it surely will, the world will witness what it looks like when God exalts a soul who trusted Him through the valley, remained faithful in the silence, and surrendered fully to His plan. Hold fast to this truth. God Himself will exalt you, and when He does, it will be in front of every eye, beyond every doubt, and above every expectation. Stand ready, for your time is nearer than you think, and when it comes, His glory will be seen in you, and His power will echo through you for generations to come. Do you know why you are still standing today? Do you know why? Despite all the storms that have raged against you, you have not been consumed. It is because God Himself has seen something in you that you may not even see in yourself. God knows you are stronger than this battle. God knows that this struggle will not destroy you, but refine you. God has allowed you to face this season, not because you are weak, not because you are forgotten, but because within you He has placed a power that is greater than the weight that presses against you. You may not feel strong right now. You may feel weary, tired, and ready to give up, but God would not have brought you here if He had not already equipped you to endure and to overcome. Too often we confuse our feelings with the truth. You may feel overwhelmed, but the truth is, God has already measured this battle against the strength He has deposited in you. He knows the load you can carry. He knows the darkness you can face. He knows the fire you can endure. And He has declared that you will come out of this stronger, purer, and more victorious than you have ever been. That is why you are in this fight. Not to be defeated, but to discover that you were created with the resilience to rise. When you look at your life right now, you may see obstacles stacked against you. You may see betrayal, hardship, loneliness, loss, or fear. But God sees something else. He sees a warrior. He sees a soul that will not break. He sees his child who may stumble, who may cry, but who will not collapse. Every tear you have shed, every sleepless night, every anxious thought, God has taken note of it, and he has whispered, this one will endure. This one will overcome. This one will rise above the weight of it all. You are not weak. You are not defeated. You are not forgotten. You are chosen by God to walk through this valley and prove that his strength within you is greater than anything outside of you. The enemy of your soul wants you to believe that this battle is proof of your failure, but I tell you today, it is the very evidence of your strength. If you were weak, you would not even be in this fight. If you were fragile, life would not test you at this level. The battles that come to you are not random. They are matched to the measure of greatness that God has placed in you. The deeper the struggle, the greater the destiny. The higher the opposition, the greater the victory that waits on the other side. That is why you cannot give up now. That is why you cannot let despair win. God trusted you with this mountain because he already knew you would climb it. Think about that for a moment. God trusted you. Out of all the people he could have given this assignment to, he placed it on your shoulders. He looked at your life and said, this one will not break. He saw the fire inside of you. He saw the strength of your faith. He saw the courage hidden even in your weakness. And he chose you for this very hour. You may not like it. You may not understand it. But you must embrace it. The battle you are facing is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to reveal the greatness of God's strength in you. Now, let me tell you something you must never forget. When God allows a storm, he always provides the strength to endure it. He never lets his child face a burden without giving them the power to carry it. You are not in this alone. The same God who allowed you to walk into this valley is the same God who will carry you through it. You may feel the weight pressing down, but God has his hand beneath you, holding you steady. You may feel surrounded by darkness, but God is the flame that will never go out inside your soul. You see, your strength is not measured by how loud you shout or how fearless you appear. True strength is measured in those moments when you are trembling but still moving forward. When you are weeping but still praying. When you are breaking but still believing. That is where God's strength shines brightest. Not in your comfort, not in your ease, but in your endurance. Every day you choose not to give up, you prove to the world and to the enemy that God has made you unshakable. I know some of you are listening right now with questions in your heart. You are asking, if God knows I am strong enough, then why does it hurt so badly? Why do I feel so broken? Why does this storm seem endless? My friend, pain does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. But the difference between you and those who collapse under pressure is that you are not relying only on your own strength. You are relying on the God who sustains you. Your tears may fall, but your faith is still alive. Your body may be tired, but your spirit is still anchored in the one who promised never to abandon you. That is strength. That is victory already at work in your life. Do not despise this battle. As hard as it is to believe, this very fight is shaping you into who you were created to be. God is chiseling away everything that does not belong, everything that weakens you, everything that keeps you from stepping fully into the destiny he prepared for you. Without pressure, there is no diamond. Without fire, there is no refined gold. Without struggle, there is no strength. You may not see it now, but you are being forged into something greater. And hear me well, God is not